Hi guys, it's Alan from GameCraft Miniatures. I want to take a minute today to talk to you about a new product that we've come up with for the paint racks. These are the paint racks. Most of you have these by now, and you know that they go on your workbench across the back, and you can have as many of them as you want. You can have several of them. We have angular ones. We have all sorts of different accessories. They fit different size paints and things like that. One of the things I found with my workbench is that it's not very deep from front to back. My workbench is about 2 feet, I think. And once I put down a paint rack, it's taking up some space. It's doing a very valuable job there, but it's taking up some space on my workbench, not leaving me a whole lot of room to work. So I was trying to find a way to sort of reclaim that space that the paint rack is taking up. I had originally come up with a solution where I made these drawer add-ons for the paint racks. They go directly under the paint rack and sit like that. That way the area that the paint rack is taking up is still usable for storing other items. And these have been very popular. People like them. I found personally that they don't work too well for me because, as I said before, the width of my workbench is not very deep. So this area right here is where I'll be working on projects, and I'll always have a lot of things here. So if I have a bunch of stuff sitting here and then I go to open a drawer, I'm constantly hitting whatever it is I'm working on, or tools or things like that. So these particular drawers, while they're very popular and people seem to love them, they haven't worked out very well for me personally. So I was searching for another solution to keep the paint racks on my bench, but again try to reclaim that space where the paint racks are sitting. And I've come up with something new. It's very, very simple. It's just a 5-inch paint rack riser. Paint rack sits on top of this, and now I've got all this storage space underneath. It basically just raises the paint rack up off the table and gives me all of this real estate back again, so I can use it to store things and just, you know, put more stuff under there. Now, while I was making this, I thought, what if somebody has a really, really deep workbench and has the room and wants to do something crazy like this? Now you have a 10-tier paint rack, and you can have several of these if you want. This wouldn't work on my bench because that would leave me, you know, 6 or 8 inches of room to work in front of it. But if you have a very deep workbench, 36 inches or 48 inches or whatever, you could have 2 paint racks now up against the back by using this riser on the second one. So that's kind of cool too. And then I was thinking, well, I can't do that, but I can do this. And I do kind of like the idea of the drawers, having a little extra storage there. So I came up with this idea. What if when you're building the riser, these two little tabs here, they locate the paint rack, and when you're building, let me show you the back side. When you're building one of these and you're putting a paint rack on it, I would highly recommend that everything is glued together, and that keeps everything as one solid unit. But imagine if you were building this riser and you left these off, put on the drawer, glued these two together. Now you have one unit, and then added your paint rack on top. Now you've got a paint rack to store a bunch of paints, you've got drawers to store tools or parts, and then you've got all this space still underneath to use. So I've created something here, I think, that works 3 different ways. It works by itself as just a paint rack riser. It works as a paint rack riser with the drawers, and then it also works as, put these guys back on. These would be glued in if this was being done for real. Also works as a paint rack riser if you want to do a double rack, 2 racks, one in front of the other. So I think I've come up with a pretty cool little solution here for reclaiming some of that valuable space on your workbench with just a really simple thing here. It's just a top, two sides, a back, and then these little tabs. Super easy to assemble, and like I said, it's got 3 different ways it can be used. I think I'm going to do it like this with the drawers and then the racks on top. That's the way I'm going to do it. And then I'll have 3 of them, and I'll have my 3 paint racks, 3 sets of drawers, and 3 risers. So there you go. I hope you find that useful. If you want to reclaim some of that valuable workbench space that you're losing, well, not really losing, but you're using with your paint rack, this gives you all that space back again. All right, so there you have it. I hope you find this useful. You can find the product on the GameCraft Miniatures website at gcmini.com in the workbench and paint rack section. It's called Paint Rack Riser 5 inches because it's 5 inches tall. So there you have it. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.